Welcome to Comics to Movies and More live YouTube stream. I have done the embarrassing thing of doing a live broadcast on our previous or our to be launched link for Dan Furigal. Thinking that I was being nice and prepared, I have accidentally gone live. So I do apologize to everyone and thank you for people that have reached out, but I do apologize. We've been talking Men in Black, and we've got Stephen, my co-host here, as well as our special guest Isaac Fox, who's going to be talking about his Kickstarter that's up at the moment as well.
Hi everybody. Welcome aboard. I do apologize to the people who have been waiting. I've got quite a few messages, and we are currently on the right link. So we've been talking a bit about Men in Black, but since it's very early for Isaac and we want to make sure that we show as much of his campaign as possible now, let's bring up your campaign. Let's watch the video, let's have a good talk through, and let's see what we can say.
Okay, let me bring that up. Hang on. As always, I forgot to add the sound, and that is going to be no good. Here we go. Okay, let's go up and let's watch the video first, and then we'll get into it.
I don't think the sound's coming through.
I was going to ask if you guys are getting sound.
No, I'm not. I don't think the sound's coming through, Sean.
I am in fine form today. Bear with me. I'll let you guys keep talking while I get this back up and running.
Hopefully, just small technical difficulties will get this all sorted, so don't stress. So just on Isaac, one of the things when I saw the campaign, it just reminded me so much about Cowboy Bebop. I'm 100% assuming you absolutely love that series.
Yeah. So
I could see it. I saw it there. Yeah. Sorry.
It's there. It's the one I get the most is that one. I get that a lot, and I get Trigun a lot. Like, oh, that's what I mean, Trigun. Well, Trigun, Outlaw Star, Trigun, and Bebop are two of the three big space western anime that were really hot because of the 90s that came over. Those kind of exploded because we got the 90s era of animation in the U.S. where we got Toonami, and those kind of picked off. For me, Outlaw Star is my personal favorite, and that's the one that really inspired it. In truth, the entire book is kind of a big love letter to Outlaw Star in a lot of ways, but Bebop definitely played a role. And Bebop is probably the most popular of the three, for good reason. That influence is definitely there. If you're into that kind of story where it's semi-episodic, but it does play into an overall arcing story, yeah, it's definitely there.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, let me try this again. I do apologize. Let me know if that's working now.
I can hear it now.
It's all good now.
Planet Danu, a nothing world on the very edge of the United Continents of Earth's territory. The law doesn't even bother coming out this far. Instead, it's run by a bunch of mobsters. Real fun. Every day's the same. Work on some cheapskate starship, earn some credits, make sure the client actually pays me. I'm the only COMICS on this backwater planet. An alien to everyone here. Oh, great. Here we go again. How did this thing even make it into my shop? Yep, called it. The reek of liquor off this guy is almost as strong as the coolant his ship's leaking. Okay, Renee, time to get to work. What the fuck? This thing's engines are, but the reactors are, and the life support is. This ship's using technology from different alien races, but that's impossible. Even the ship's virtual intelligence computer is fucking weird. Where did an alcoholic like him get this thing? I need to dig more into this ship and its shady-ass captain. But right now, I've got an errand to run. Ah, shit! It's those mob assholes! Fuck. Stay the fuck out of my way! Wait, what's he doing here? Cremisi, Issue 4, Renee. Now I've got to save both our asses.
Wow.
I love it.
What a video.
Who did you get to
Thank
do
you.
the voice? She was amazing. Look, she's that's a voice actor right there.
Yep. I got before I did books, I kind of worked a little bit in small video games, and I got lucky that one of my best friends is a voice actor, and I asked him, "Hey, can you kind of cast and direct this thing for me? Because I don't like dealing with a lot of that stuff." And we found a woman named Amber Bray, who she's more of a romance novel reader. Is what I think what she does primarily.
Yeah.
And when she first came out for it, her voice was like perfect for Renee. Like it fits it, but it was very sultry, a lot of emphasis on the way she talked. I was like, okay, I am sure any guy on earth would love to hear you talk like that, but this character doesn't do that. So you have the voice, but I need you to tone down the sultry and just get really angry. And she did it, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, this is the one thing I love about watching videos live, but that I haven't seen before, because I get like that real reaction of, wow, that's like, I really enjoyed that type of thing. So that's awesome. So with your campaign, this is issue 4. So you've got 3 issues already that you've ran on Kickstarter. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay,
that's correct. The first 1 and 2 were lumped together in a book, kind of put in a little mini volume exclusively to Kickstarter. 3 ran its own Kickstarter. That went well. And then we took some time away, and now we're back with 4. And there's a lot more going on now because of that.
101 backers, man. That's pretty good. So just so everyone knows, there's only 6 days to go on this Kickstarter. So once we get into it, and if it's something that really interests you, make sure that you go and check it out and pledge support, all that type of stuff. So it is already funded. So this is definitely going to be made. So that's all.
Well, here's a great thing about that. Here's a great thing about that. When I do a Kickstarter, you know, a lot of Kickstarters you're paying for something to be made. You're hoping to get it, that they'll complete it, right? That's not a problem.
Oh, wow.
It's done.
Awesome.
It's done. We've got it. We're just covering printing costs and shipping to you. That's all you're paying for.
That's fantastic. So
nice.
You're fulfilling, like, as soon as the funds come through, basically you start fulfillment.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as we get it in, the only delay we're going to possibly have is was recently informed that like some of our tiers, we get them the books. We have different covers now. First time doing that. We're kind of following the footsteps of guys like Brian Polito and Dan Mendoza, how they do their stuff, which are great guys, by the way. I've gotten some advice from some of those guys. The only that's going to be possibly going to be a problem is that like Eric Chen, it was his debut cover for us. Eric Chen is a guy who was part of Artrum Collectibles. This is a guy who's going to be doing DC and Marvel work and Boom work in the very near future. He's going to be huge. To get his book signed might take us a little longer than we thought, because I was just informed apparently Japan isn't going to take any packages from the States right now. Oh. So I have to send the books to him to get signed. He's in Tokyo. So they got to come back. I got to send books to him. He's got to sign it, send it back to me in the States. So a couple of those might take a little bit longer than originally anticipated, just because of the fact that some countries won't let us send our packages over there right now.
I know. It's without getting too much into it, it's an absolute crazy time in the world. The last 3 months have been really, really weird. I'll just leave it at that.
It's been pretty insane.
So let's talk about your campaign first. Tell us about it. Tell us about the story, and tell us your influences. The video is awesome. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Well, Cremisi is kind of my passion project. I've got other stuff in the works I'd like to talk about later, but Cremisi is definitely my kind of my favorite a little bit. It takes a lot of inspiration from the 90s era of anime, manga, cartoons, and comic books. I was the 90s kid. I was sitting at home. When I was in school, I was like, man, I want to get home to watch Toonami. I don't want to listen to talk about math. I want to go home and watch Cowboy Bebop and Gundam. I don't want to deal with this. So
X-Men animated series was around that time. So was Batman animated series. So
you say that you mentioned that show, and the theme is now running through my head. It's just ingrained like genetically into my system at this point. Cremisi is it's a space western story with a lot of manga and anime influence. If you were a fan of Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, Trigun, Firefly, Serenity, or in recent times The Mandalorian, it's going to be right up your alley and exactly in that same vein. It's going to feed that. It's going to feed that hunger you might have for that. Issue 4 picks up right where issue 3 left off. That being said, if you don't want to read the previous issues, it's still a great time to jump in where we haven't gotten too deep into the main story, so you can still come into it. Along with that, any tier on our Kickstarter, you do get issues 1 through 3 digitally with it as well as PDF downloads, so you can still catch up and still enjoy the other stories to it. It is a space western. The primary themes of the book, though, it deals a lot with mental issues characters suffer from, like PTSD, alcoholism, depression, anxiety, abandonment. Those are primary themes in the book. Giving the book an overall heavy theme. Usually how we like to talk about it is the book is emotionally rough, but visually smooth.
Okay.
I like to tackle those issues in my work because I feel like a lot of people today, you guys are about the same age I am. Like when we were younger and kind of growing up, like if you had PTSD or depression, you weren't supposed to talk about it. Like it was a taboo subject. Of course,
it was tough. Like your depression, man up, harden up. It's not always the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, especially as a guy, you're just told, hey, just deal with it, man up and deal with it. Well, that's not a solution. That's not an answer. My book kind of brings a lot of that stuff to light, talks about it, shows characters facing it, and it shows how they deal with it and potentially how they overcome it. We don't know. You haven't gotten that far, but we do see how these characters are dealing with it. Some in unhealthy ways, mostly in unhealthy ways, but most coping mechanisms can be a little unhealthy. Go ahead.
So just a quick one. The link for Cremisi is currently in the live chat. So if anybody wants to listen to the smooth voice of Isaac while checking out the Kickstarter, absolutely feel free to. You can listen.
You should.
And pledge at the same time. Hint, hint, but look, please continue. I just want to make sure they know the link is in the live chat.
Oh, I understand. Thank you so much. Yeah. For the first time, we are offering 100% full international shipping. We'll ship anything you want anywhere in the world now. We used to limit it a little bit. We don't do that anymore. Everything can go anywhere. The story follows the misadventures of an alcoholic spaceship captain named Shay. If I focus on an alien cast, you don't really see a lot of humans in the main cast. Reason for that is I wanted to explore different kinds of mentalities and cultures and perceptions. I love stories like The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, a lot of really epic fantasies like that. And one thing those do is you see a lot of human characters and how they react to things. And those are genius in the sense that you do get to see other races and how they respond to things. And I've always loved that. Like if I'm exposed to a situation, I may not see it the same way as like an elf or a dwarf does it. They may not respond the same way because it's just not part of their culture, who they are. So Cremisi, I wanted to have an alien cast to allow me to open that up while maintaining them to be human enough to still be relatable. The story follows Shay as he kind of adventures around the universe. At the stage we find Shay in, he's an alcoholic. He's a shadow of his former self. His only real concerns are traveling around space, trying to find his next drink and maybe a quick little good time with somebody for a night. And that's all he really cares about. When we get about issue 3, we run into something that's kind of slaps him in the face. Issue 3 is called Wake Up Call. Yep. And that's essentially the call for him, like, hey, you got to wake up. Like there's something that he knows that as the reader we don't know about. so Cremisi centers around something called the Cremisi incident, which is an incident which occurs 15 years prior to the book starting, where there was a small little colony out in space that this thing called Cremisi killed everybody in that colony. And no one knows why, no one knows what this thing is, no one knows where it is, where it came from. Could it happen again? No one's really sure. We do get hints that Shay knows something about it, but he's not talking. He doesn't want to deal with it. Issue 3, we kind of see him start to get slapped in the face by that, which is one reason I'd really recommend, if you're going to start anywhere in the series, maybe start with 3 if you don't want the first 2. But 4, again, you get those with it anyways. 4 is still a great place to jump in. And 4, the whole story of 4 is Shay, after the events of issue 3, his ship gets kind of shot up. Not that he's taking good care of it in the first place. He's kind of a guy who's got a Cadillac, but didn't bother ever taking care of the thing, and now it's rusting out on him. He arrives on a planet in issue 4 looking for a rumor of a genius starship mechanic. That's where he runs into the titular character Renee.
Yep.
And he starts to be really impressed with her, because Renee is able to look at his ship and understand it and really work on it, whereas mechanics in the past could just barely do enough to keep the thing running, because it's a very unique vessel. We'll learn more about that as the series goes on. But towards the end of the book, Renee kind of gets into a fight with the local mafia, and Shay kind of gets pulled into that. Previously, we've seen Shay in other books. If he gets into serious trouble, he'll just hop on the ship and leave. He just doesn't like, I'm peacing out, I'm done. Well, in this case, of issue 4, Shay's ship is under repair. It cannot take back off right now, so he's going to be forced to deal with that. There's no escape.
Okay. Oh, look, there is one quick question. Can you? I don't know if you can pop that up, Sean, from George Hall, just about the question about the lettering. He just asked, is that Comic Life lettering? Comic Life is just a piece of software. Do you know how?
You mean like the letters actually used on the comic and the action font and the
Yep.
No, that's custom. So
cool.
Yeah, when I first started this, I was surprised to learn that a lot of fonts are copyright. You can't just use whatever you want. Like, I cannot just use Times New Roman or whatever. So the gentleman who's also on the cover is a man named Jay Quick. He does my technology designs. He designs a lot of my spaceships, and he did my lettering on my fonts. We custom created the fonts. So we've got 3 or 4 of them we use in the book. There's one that's specifically reserved for a database kind of a technical font. We've got 2 action fonts, and then we've got the regular dialogue font. And he created all of that, and they're all custom owned and property of me and my company. Oh, look,
that's fantastic. And I suppose that's why George is asking the question, because it's probably something a little bit unusual and something that George creates comics as well. So it's probably something he hasn't noticed before. Let's talk about the artwork. Can we scroll back up a little bit?
Yes, beautiful.
Let's talk about your artists.
Thank you. So issue 4 is a little different. Issues 1 through 3 were done by Sayako Rush, who's a manga artist out of Poland. She's extraordinarily good. For issue 4, Sayako had to take a year off. She had her first baby. So she's like, I want to take a year off, kind of get used to being a mommy and get used
Congrats to her.
Exactly. Yeah, congratulations, Sayako. She got married, had her first kid. I was like, okay, you just got married, you had a baby, you're gonna need a year to adjust to this whole new, wild new life. No problem. We'll take that. And Poland is very nice to you if you're having a child. They help you out a lot, unlike America, where they just about bill you for having a kid. But Poland was nice. She had time to actually take down and have to deal with that. So okay, she's down for a little while. So to quote a classic quote, the show must go on. And a friend of mine got me. He's like, I got an artist you'll like. I said, okay. So I met Mitsu, who is a Portuguese artist out of Denmark, and I got with her. And we started going over the book. And that relationship started off very rocky. It wasn't easy to do. I was so used to working with Sayako, and the script for issue 4 was custom tailored to Sayako. Part of that was that Sayako being from Poland and Mitsu being from Portugal, English wasn't their native tongue. And I know English, a decent bit of Spanish and some Japanese, but not enough to write in another language. So I had to kind of get used to the different ways they spoke English. Whereas Sayako, she spoke English a little more like we in the States speak it, because Americans speak it. I taught English as a foreign language, so I'm used to seeing how like different nations talk about it and speak it. Whereas Mitsu was used to kind of the way the British speak it, which isn't necessarily too different, but there is some different interpretations. I've had to explain a couple different meanings to her before, like, oh, that means something in British English, but in American English, it means something totally different. So that started off as a little rocky, but after about 5 or 6 pages, she and I just really clicked to the point where she's taking over another project for me now. She's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Mitsu did a great job with the book. We got it ironed out. We figured out what we wanted to do. She started to understand the way I wrote the scripts. I started to understand how to make things work for her. And it was a give and take. It was a growing opportunity, and it was fantastic for both of us. And we both learned a lot. And the pages turned out good. The book it still holds on to a kind of gritty manga kind of feel without being over the top in that category. I try not to involve too many of the typical anime tropes or manga tropes.
Like the big eyes or when they get a balance.
Yeah. I mean, I say this is a massive manga and anime fan, like completely. Yeah. I mean, if you've seen my office has got posters and crap from all kinds of different anime and manga and comic book. You'll see Batman sitting next to like Alucard from Helsing. Like it's just a mixture of all that fun stuff.
On that screen. Oh, please continue. I'm just going to say the one thing I absolutely loved, and a lot of times they don't get it right. Facial expressions. You can see the computer AI there to the left. It's like, oh, everything's fine. And then you see Renee's face there. You can see, no, she's pissed. And then you can see Shay's face, on the third panel there going, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Whatever. and it's, look, by the way, I can't read the words properly, but you can see straight away from panel to panel to panel, just from the facial expressions. You don't need to read the.
So something that was taught to me when I first started writing comics was if you're doing a comic book right, you can take off all the dialogue on the page and leave it just with the images, and a reader can scroll through that and may not know exactly what's going on, but they can get a general grasp of it and how the characters feel. And I've tried to always do that. There's, again, like you were just saying, like, okay, one character looks like, what are you talking about? One character looks angry, one character looks forlorn. I need that to go through there to create this dynamic of conversation that something's going on. And if you just glance at it, you can tell that something's being covered up here. I try to do that with everything we do. There's a little bit of that in every panel without, again, doing the big anime, like eyes popping out of your head kind of thing.
Yep. Oh, no, I love it. Like you can see, that's why I asked Sean to pause right there. In 3 panels, I can, without reading the words, know exactly what each of those characters are thinking. And I think it's fantastic. Look, there is something that we talked in private messaging for a while, and I don't know whether you want to bring this up, but some of your artwork is probably, especially some of the covers, is a little bit not safe for work. Now, everybody says it's past 10 o'clock. It's past 10 o'clock now, so all the kids should all be in bed. So it's all okay for the stream. But let's talk about.
Well, everything on the page is covered up. Anybody can look at it there. Yeah. You're not going to see anything bad up.
But
I think I've seen a couple of Kickstarters that will show off some stuff on the page, but we don't do that. I don't show anything on that page. I make it where if you have a child just going through my Kickstarter page, you're not going to be like, oh no, go, sweetie. Not going to give you that. We're not going to do. I'm not going to allow that. And it's so much like I go to conventions, people go open my book up with like somebody will be with like their 8-year-old daughter open my book. And I'm like, sir, just so you know that she may not want to look in that book. You want to look into it. In fact, you should buy a couple copies, but she should not look into this book.
Of course. Look, let's talk covers, talk artists, because look, by the way, I didn't know the artist. You didn't mention it to me, so you're not trying to sell to me. I love it all already, but let's sell to your audience to say, who's the artist? And even the naughty ones are spectacular. So let's tell us about them.
I started doing the naughty ones. It was advice given to me by Art Germ Collectibles. Again, those are guys that work with people like Ryan Polito and all these other guys that do Kickstarters professionally. And like, they do a lot of stuff that naughties tend to sell really well. Some people that I work with in my production crew aren't super happy with the decision to do that because Sayako and myself especially, we're big horror people. I like horror, serious and dark. Like, give me some of that. Like give me for the manga people out there, and people out there, give me Berserk. Give me something like that. But mix in a little bit of fan service with it just for the fun of it. You don't see a lot of that in the book itself, though. The book itself doesn't really contain much of that.
Yeah.
For the covers, the standard issue cover is called Cake Time. That's the one that Mitsu herself did. That's the one in the far upper left. That's just a standard, straightforward cover. Sayako came back about towards the end of issue 4. I was like, hey, you're coming back. Why don't you do a cover for us? So we have a more cover that mixes with the others. And she did what she dubbed the Midnight Run cover, which is the 2 in the middle there, which is more of like how our traditional covers look. I've got a copy of that cover here. Like issue 1's cover again was her, so it looks more like that. Issue 2's cover looks more like that. And issue 3, which this is the Kickstarter exclusive cover, but still it looks more like that. The one to the right of that was colored by Anna Zhao. She's a fantastic artist out of Alabama who did a Kickstarter recently. She did her sketchbook. I think she made over 18K. She did really well.
I saw that. It looked brilliant, that one.
Yeah, and Anna's cool. She's been very kind. She actually helps me out now with the campaign and stuff. She's great. I'll be working with her more in the future, so you guys can expect something from her in the future I can talk about later.
Awesome.
To the far right is our premiere. The top upper right is our premiere cover. That is from Eric Chen. He is a comic book. He's an artist out of Tokyo. Chen is he's with collectibles, and he is on his way to becoming a very big name. We're seeing him doing covers for DC or Marvel or Titan or Boom or these guys. Like I said, I know something a lot to talk about, but I can tell you that you need to keep an eye on this guy because he's going to be doing work for them. Like he's going to be a big dog. And this is his first cover he's ever doing in his entire career. So if you are a collector, this is a cover you're going to want to get because as this man becomes more and more popular, this book's going to be more and more popular for you.
Yep.
That cover was done as a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, just that one. That's Akira. That's fantastic. I look at that.
That's what I was about to say. It's an Akira reference.
That homage is right there. It's brilliant. I keep looking at. Make that red, and it'll be spectacular.
It's Akira. That available on this Kickstarter. That is a Kickstarter exclusive. It is a version cover. It's done with everything green. There is red.
Oh,
you can only get it on the Kickstarter. After that, it will never be available again. Period. I won't be selling it. You can't get it anywhere else. And we do that. There's a red variant that's exclusive to that. We offer it in signed versions, regular versions, and remarked. And it comes coupled with that version, which for this Kickstarter exclusive, that Akira cover is going to be a virgin cover as well. So it'll be sold in stores after this campaign's over, the regular version, but it will not be virgin.
Okay.
But yeah, it was definitely an Akira. I wanted to pay respect.
So what made you kind of decide to do those naughty covers? It sounds like, and with the language in the video, that this is a little bit more of an adult story. So what made you decide to kind of branch out and go, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I've seen other guys do it. It kind of works for them. Did you feel like it still felt like the same your universe, and it still felt like that it wasn't just a naughty version? It was actually still related to the universe and the characters and that type of thing?
Well, it still caters to the characters. The naughty ones were a lot of inspiration from other guys that have been doing this for a while and do really well on Kickstarter and how they handle their campaigns. For the 2 ones we have, they're both crossover covers. Those are the 2 at the bottom there. The one on the left is a crossover with Danger Zone 1. They are a manga book. And they put some nudity in their book. There's nudity in Cremisi. There's definitely nudity. But there's never anything, I word it as, there's never anything worse than you'll see in the art museum. Okay. You're never going to see the act of sex. I won't allow that in my work. But you might see somebody topless, or you might see a butt. I know, how scandalous, right? That's about the worst you're ever going to see.
Someone's head gets lopped off. That's okay, but beyond.
Oh, I can go on that all day because that's American media. We can shoot a guy in the face with a shotgun, but if you see a bare-breasted woman, oh my God, think of the children. Sorry, one of these things you're probably going to see in your life. One of them, I hope you don't. But whatever. So the one on the left is it's their character Madison Winter with our girl from issues 1 and 2, Maria, and that one I do feel safe in the sense that Maria is a character who, when we meet her, Maria is a very confident, very capable woman who is more than aware of the fact that she's attractive, and we've established that canonically she absolutely has implants, so she's very proud of what she's got on her chest, and she doesn't mind flaunting a little bit. So that cover was okay. The cover on the left is a crossover with a character on the girl in the purple there, or lack thereof in the second version, is from a book called Foxy and Wolfie, which is really, Foxy and Wolfie isn't that kind of book at all either. But the character was a friend of mine, and his character was like, oh, he has a blonde girl with blue eyes that wears glasses. I've got a blonde girl with blue eyes and wears glasses. What if we mixed them in a cover? And that's mixing his girl Rosa with my girl in the white and the red bow, Alice. And Alice is meant to be Cremisi's kind of fan servicey, over-exaggerated, fun character. The story of Cremisi does deal with a lot of darkness, a lot of heavy themes. But Alice is kind of a comedic relief / fan service to kind of help to pull both the characters of the book and you as the viewer back from the darkness a little bit, make you feel a little bit better, maybe give you a laugh. And I subscribe to the theory that everybody deserves some eye candy in some point. So much so that in previous campaigns we had pinups that were of men and of women. Whatever you want to see, I'm happy for you. Let's get you something. That's kind of where the idea of the naughties came from. It's like, all right, we can do some naughty and some nice, because that's a pretty popular thing the industry is doing right now. And these are characters that would be okay with it. Like you'll notice there isn't a naughty version of Renee. Because of the fact that Renee is a character that would not be cool with that. That is not a way she views the world. She's not comfortable with that. She doesn't accept that. Whereas Alice and Maria, they're fine with it.
I like that. I like that you've actually put thought into that, and that your characters, and that it does stay true to the type of person that they are. So that's
like you would want to see a Batman cover of Batman lighting up a crack pipe. Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense, right?
Of course.
True.
So what I noticed here, pins and some other bits and pieces. Is there any other really cool, unique rewards, T-shirts, anything that you want to highlight?
Yes.
We'll go to the rewards. Yep.
So for this campaign, we are doing something we haven't done before. It's exclusive to it. Well, not exclusive to this campaign, but new to us. If you want, Mitsu, Sayako, Anazawa, or Jason Hare. Jason did the Foxy and Wolfie crossover where it's Alice and Rosa. Those artists will sketch you a custom cover of anything you want. It doesn't mean it has to be from Cremisi. If you want to have one of these artists, maybe you're a fan of Anazawa or Jason, or you like Sako's artwork or Mitsu's artwork, they'll put Goku on the cover, Batman, whatever you want. They'll get a blank copy of Cremisi, and we'll put that on there for you.
Oh wow!
However you want that done, we're happy to do that. So most of those artists are okay with even going up to ecchi. So if you want, again, like those naughty covers, something like that done, we can do that. With the exception of Mitsu. Mitsu will do anything you want as far as you want that image to go. So if you want full blown, not safe for work, it's fine to do that. And
I love sketch covers. They're one of my favorite rewards. Sketch covers, because not only do you get the book, but then you get something completely unique to what you want as well. So if there's a series that I'm really enjoying and everything, to be able to get a sketch cover like that is a great reward type thing.
Yeah, I think that's one of our biggest ones. That, and I'd say one of our coolest things is the red variant of that Eric Chen actor homage, just because that is from a guy who is stepping up to the plate right now to start swinging the bat with the big leagues. And it's a Kickstarter exclusive that once we're done with this campaign in a few days, it's never coming back to light ever again.
Okay, so for fans who do pick up issue 4, is it a story by itself, or how far have you plotted the arc out to?
So Cremisi is told in 5-issue arcs. There's going to be about 3 of them ultimately.
Okay.
where it's issue 1 through 5 complete the first kind of arc of the story. It's like watching an anime season. There's season 1, basically the first ones. If you hop on just in issue 4, if you want to get it by itself, you're fine. You'll be perfectly fine. It's a good point to jump in. It's a good point to meet Shay, meet Alice, meet Renee, meet these characters and how they interact with the world, what's going on. You'll be able to ascertain enough to figure out what's going on in the universe. I would still recommend the other 3. Issues 1 through 2 are kind of like an introductory episode. Like you get to meet the characters, like you get to meet Shay and Alice, and like, oh, okay, this is what they're about, this is what they're like. Doesn't really have any hard story elements in the first 1 through 2. There's some stuff in there I don't want to spoil, but issue 3 is all about the main story. But again, if you want to just hop into issue 4, I've intentionally put it in such a way where you can just hop into issue 4 and you'll be fine.
Fantastic. Look, general reminder to the live chat. I think there were 9 people on the last time I checked. This is a great time to add questions to the live chat now because it's really early for Isaac, so we do want to make sure he gets some, he can get back to his day after this. So this is a great time to keep adding questions because we'll get to your questions and hopefully before we finish the wrap up. I saw some pins as well. So I look, Sean swears by reward pins. How do you find those? Is that only for a stretch goal, or is there a tier which has the reward
pins? You mean the buttons?
The buttons, sorry, the buttons. My apologies.
Okay. Well, again, it's I love language. So like it's things that like between like Australian English, like Australian English, American English, like we might call some things differently. So I'm like, oh wait, what? Okay, pins. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
We've done.
He loves his pins.
I've done buttons as Kickstarter rewards a lot, or pins in the past. They've been done okay. They weren't really like super huge. And I sell them at conventions sometimes, and they move, but they aren't like a big thing. So I pulled back from those this time. I was like, all right, this time we're going to focus primarily on the book, its covers, and things around that. I wanted to focus mostly on that kind of stuff for this campaign, which is numerically from what we've done this campaign appears to have been the right decision. We do have a new stretch goal for a button that was special for July 4th. Cremisi is based in America. I'm in Florida. So all right, it's July 4th. It's our 4th book. Let's do a July 4th Renee button. And America's going crazy right now. So I'm like, all right, well, let's say let's vote for Renee. Put Renee in office. That's time America got an alien in the office, and we just kind of redid everything. So we just came like, all right, here's the 4th of July, celebrate America, vote for Renee button. Show your support for this candidate with this button. And let's get her in the office and get things and let her handle it and see what happens. So that was kind of the idea behind it. Like, all right, we'll put that together, we'll put that out. Nice little button there. Everybody. It's also going to be a Kickstarter exclusive item. You can't get that beyond the Kickstarter. Once it's unlocked, it'll be available for that. Every physical tier backer is going to get it, and then it's gone forever.
Awesome.
I like you seem that to have a very tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. If you know what that saying is, I really like how you've come up with certain rewards and certain tiers and fine line, and some people might take offense to it, some people won't, but I really enjoy that type of humor.
I will tell you that Cremisi is a book that does deal with heavy themes, and there is that walking of a fine line sometimes with certain things I say, things I do. Like, okay, I got to make sure that I don't appeal too far this way, too far that way. I think it's a lot of things as a creator that sometimes you're trying to be careful. Even like when I go on, especially doing something live like this right now, I'm like, oh man, don't say anything stupid. Don't say the wrong thing. Like, you don't want to say something like, oh, this. Yeah,
don't stream to the wrong episode. Like, don't do something that stupid.
But it's like I say, oh, I have cats. Oh, Fox has cats. He hates dogs. No, but someone could kind of twist that. So you got to be a little careful sometimes. When the update we put out for issue 4 for 4th of July, just yesterday, I put the update out, and I put a thing at the bottom. And sometimes I like to come out and try to say something heartfelt to the community, because I was like, hey guys, it's 4th of July. You're setting off fireworks. Maybe think about your local veterans who might live in your neighborhood, because if you're a veteran of PTSD and you have PTSD onset by time in combat, fireworks can be a very unpleasant thing to deal with.
Of course.
So I was like, hey guys, maybe if you have any in your neighborhood, maybe take them into account. Maybe go a little further away to set your fireworks off next to their house, and give them some space. Let everybody have a good 4th of July. I did that, and I lost like 2 low-tier backers like 5 minutes later. I was like, what? What happened? I think some people were like, we're not cool with that message. I was like, okay, so maybe that's what happened. But myself suffering from PTSD, I'm like, I like to push that in my work. I'm like, hey guys, every now and then I want to come out and just say, hey, let's all work together. Let's be cool and take care of each other. That's part of the message of Cremisi. My real goal of Cremisi, as I do it, showing characters that PTSD, depression, anxiety, all that fun stuff. All the fun things I keep talking about, is to show people that if anyone who suffers from those disorders, I want to give them a story with characters they can relate to, and give them a chance to look at these characters and how they face these issues, to help them understand that because you have these problems, they don't define you. You are stronger than that, and these things can be beaten. And my goal through Cremisi really is, if I can just give one person that message, one person that little tiny iota of hope with that, then I feel like I've done my job. It's a tough fight. It's depression and all that stuff is a fight that you don't ever really win. You just kind of keep fighting forever. I want to help those people.
Oh, definitely. And we've raised this in a previous episode, but if you can write and it comes from your own experience, it makes the writing a million times better. And it's not just, and the thing is, even if the writing wasn't
she's an alcoholic. Gatorade? No, man, it's just tequila. Not really. No.
I love this. But look, I'm sure if you can relate to the character and you can build a bond, like if I can read the character and think, you know what, this actually sounds like a real person rather than just a caricature, it makes a world of difference. That, you know what, this could, the thing is, they're aliens, they're from different galaxies, whatever. But hey, guess what? They face similar problems to what we face. You know, they have the same hang-ups, they have the same problems. You know what? Establishing that relationship with the reader on that character, look, it sounds like you've got your headspace right in terms of writing a really strong character.
Thank you.
Yep, I was wondering, question for you, Isaac. I was wondering if there's how you deal with the heavy topics in the comic.
Yeah, sure. So for Shay, it's no secret that Shay is an excessive alcoholic. I can tell you from personal experience that when you're dealing with something like PTSD and depression, all that, alcohol is, one, it's readily available. It's cheaper than medication half the time, and it makes the feelings go away. But if anyone's listening who has this, do not go down that route. Please don't. It's very temporary, and it leaves you feeling worse than you came to start with. But that's a nuance for Shay, is he has that. Shay has hallucinations if he's not drinking. When he stops drinking, you will see times in the book where he suddenly sees things that aren't there. And these images are often graphic and horrific. He's clearly running from something, and he's refusing to face. You'll see those little nuances. Even Alice, who's a computer program, has some problems. There's times you're going to see her kind of look at things forlorn and feel kind of helpless. For Renee, our title character for issue 4, has clear mistrust, anger, aggression, and abandonment issues. So much so that if you try to be nice to her, her response is, "Oh, you want something. You're clearly a bad person, and you want something from me." Little nuances like that in their personality that's going to show these damages that have been done.
And
ultimately,
and then if you're mean to her, you validate her worldview. So if you're nice to her,
exactly,
you're being manipulative. If you're mean to her, I knew you were going to do that. Oh, I love that. I love that. The thinking behind the characters you put in. It's fantastic. Next one, digital rewards. Your thoughts on that one? How many do you mentioned? I think issue 1 to 3 are mainly digital. Is that correct? I'm just looking at George's question.
So I can talk about this now. Like finally, I had to keep it under wraps for a little while. Issues 1 through 3 are only available on this Kickstarter through PDF. Any tier, there's only one tier that doesn't come with them, and that's if you want just digital of issue 4 by itself. That's the cheapest tier. You just get issue 4 alone. That's fine. Everything after that, you're going to get PDFs of 1 through 3. We do have digital rewards of issue 4 by itself, issues 1 through 4 by themselves as all PDFs. There is one tier that we got that was requested by fans that I opened up where you can get issues 1 through 4, and the digital copy of issue 4. Mitsu, who is the interior artist and the artist of the standard cover you get with that tier, she'll put a custom little remark on the cover for you. Usually remarks in the comic book world, are you want them physical or sent over, but I understand. Like I had some fans message me from like Norway. They were like, "Hey, I want like a custom thing, but like I can't afford the shipping over to here." And I'm like, "Well, I'll tell you what, let me talk to." And I talked to Mitch and said, "Hey, would you mind doing this? Like, can we do this?" And like that day, I got him a new. Like, "Hey, man," and the ST that's in that T, it's called the ST reward. That's the initials of the gentleman who asked for it. I was like, dude, I'll name the tier after you. I'll open it up and I will get it for you. If there's something that it's something I think I kind of pride myself on with my Kickstarters, I invite any of my fans, any of our backers, like if you see something you want, maybe there's a certain combination of covers, maybe there's something you want that's digital, if something you want that you see that I haven't placed together, send me a message and I promise you within 24 hours, that'll be fixed. We will get you. I will cater to you the best I can within my ability.
That's
plenty of digital
customer service.
There's also
I think that's
digital.
The one issue we have with Kickstarter is that you can't do the add-ons as easily as Indiegogo has set it up. So it is that letting people know, hey, if you just reach out to me, I'll make an adjustment for whatever type of pledges you want to bundle it together to cater to you. But it is sometimes a bit hard, but to let them know, hey, if you see something that you want to add, that's cool. Just hit me up and we can do that type of thing.
Yep.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't think Kickstarter lets you back to multiple tiers at the same time.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
No.
You can pick one.
It was hard to me because I had a gentleman message me like 2 days ago saying, "Hey, I want the naughty covers, but I want the Eric Chen red. Like I can't get them all." I said, "Yo, new tier available." And I asked him, like, "Do you want them signed? What do you want? You tell me what you want in that tier and I'll open it up right now for you. Tell me what you need."
I like this question,
I'll let
Quinton.
you field this one. You field this one.
Quinton always asks the hard-hitting questions each day. Who is the naughtiest between Sean, Stephen, and Isaac? I reckon I've got a feeling that Isaac's going to win this. I don't know.
So I can give evidence. I can give evidence on this. So I have 2 new books that are in the works. One of them is the first volume that is under production. It goes into full steam in August, but we'll have it out in the near future. So Cremisi is my passion project. It's a very serious story, very dark story, very heavy. Got a little bit of fan service in there, but not much. I am branching out a little bit and doing some books in the near future that are more on the ecchi, fan servicey, just have a good time with it kind of book. Excuse me. I have a new book that's coming out that's called Suck You Busted, which is about a succubus that takes place in Jacksonville, Florida. And the idea is, and one of the reasons I recommend you Men in Black to talk about is because this book is inspired by Men in Black. It's a Men in Black kind of story, but instead of aliens, it's demons. Okay. And our main character works with a succubus throughout the book, and it's kind of hard to. It might be hard to do your job if your partner is a literal sex demon. So again, it's not going to be pornographic. I don't allow that in my work. I don't do that. But there will be a lot of.
Not yet.
Oh no, my top came off for some reason. So much so that I was given permission to come out and announce this, that a very popular artist of more cultured kind of art, I'll try to put it that way, has agreed to do a cover for that book. A gentleman named Cute Sexy Robots is going to do that. I also have a cover for that book coming out from Dan Mendoza that comes in naughty and nice variants. So if you are a fan of eye candy, we're going to have a lot of that under the Isaac Fox brand coming out in the near future. So yeah, I'll argue that might be me on because again, I like the dark, the serious, the heavy stories myself, but I think everybody every now and then likes to sit down and have a good laugh and read especially if you're in the anime and manga crowd, you've seen plenty of edgy stuff. So like High School DxD or Monster Musume, if you're into that, you're gonna love this new book.
I'm just sharing cute, sexy robots link in the live chat. So if you want to check out the
Is
DeviantArt,
DeviantArt safe?
feel free to check it out. It's the links in the live chat. So don't judge me, please, but it's in the live chat. So there's a couple more questions. Let's keep powering through. So
Yep. Can you repeat the Kira bike cover? I missed out on how to get it.
So
Sure.
Yep, that's for you.
The Acura cover, so once the Kickstarter is done, the regular green version with the Cremisi title at the bottom will become available for regular sales. I don't know if I can say who's selling it yet. There's a company that I've got deals with to sell it. But for the Kickstarter, that cover, the regular green version, which is an homage to Acura, is a version cover. This means there's no title, there's no logo, it's just the cover. That is exclusive to this Kickstarter run. Once we're done in a couple days, we're never printing. Once they're printed, I won't do that again. There's also a Kickstarter exclusive beyond that, which is a red variation of that, where the color instead of green, it is red. Those are limited. I only offer a certain number of those. I think I'm printing like 40 of them in total. Like once those 40 are printed, if they're bought, they're gone from the world. They're never coming back. Period. That's a Kickstarter exclusive thing. You can get through that. We offer them. You can get them signed by Eric Chen. You can also get them remarked by Eric Chen. And if you get the remarked versions, I do include a metal certificate of authenticity to verify that book is an official product of Isaac Fox, National Ticket, and done by Eric Chen.
Awesome. That sounds great. George has said Nerds and Quinton have Naughty on the Brain tonight. Yes, I guess so. It's a Sunday night.
I think there's one more question by Quinton at the end.
Yeah, we've got Darren saying there's nothing wrong with Black Label editions, and you see quite a few different companies have done that. Quinton has another one for you, Isaac. Do you 100%? Do you have 100% good behave stuff, and do you find the naughty stuff actually sells better?
I have a mixed view on that. That's an extremely good question. Cremisi isn't really naughty. It does not focus on the book. I mean, I have a couple naughty covers, but that's just for if you want that. If you don't go that route, then you don't really see a lot of that. Issue 4, you do see some topless women because for a very brief period of time. Issue 5 does get actually pretty raunchy, but issue 5 is the raunchiest book we ever do. Period. After that, it's pretty much done. There's a story for that reason. There's a story reason for that, and you'll see that in issue 5. But I don't do a lot of my general work with Cremisi. There's not a lot of naughty stuff. There's not a lot of emphasis on that. Even in issue 1, where we see Shay does go to bed with somebody, it's kind of like they kiss, camera fades to black. Like you're not going to see any of that.
Yeah.
I like it a little bit in that work, just in the sense that it's real. I think it's realistic. It does give you an occasional something to look at, but Cremisi is not drawn in such a way where it's designed to just make naughty stuff pop out into your face. It's not like High School DxD or something like that. That's not really what it's about. The part of the reason that I am now switching to doing some of these more naughty books is because of the fact that, to be honest, it looks like they sell better. Cremisi is a serious, dark book. And to be honest, a serious, dark book from an independent publisher is a little bit of a harder sell. I was told that when I first started by other guys who were independents, were like, hey, man, your work is good, but it's going to be harder to push that with people. And it is a little harder. I know some guys who do Kickstarters professionally, who do a lot of conventions, who do mostly funny books or sexy books. And they do seem to be more popular. It does seem like if you want to talk about the naughty stuff, go look at Dan Mendoza, Brian Polito, or Ron Zabala. Like, look at what those guys do, and there's a ton of naughty they offer with their campaigns. There's a reason for that. I'll tell you, when I first started getting into doing anything when I was in college, right? I had a friend of mine who was an artist, who'd been an artist for several years. He was on DeviantArt, all that fun stuff. He told me, Isaac, go find an artist you like on DeviantArt who doesn't draw dirty work, only clean. Bookmark them. Come back in 6 months. They'll be doing dirty work. And he was right. And I was like, why? And he goes, because it takes him about that long to realize that's where the money's at. Like, okay, that's about what it is.
But just on Cremisi, and I just want to, and you mentioned it's a passion project or whatever. Yes. And look, I think you've done it the right way in terms of this. And I think we're diving a lot into this naughty stuff when Cremisi really isn't. But I think the main thing is
it's not about that.
You're telling your story. And I really, and for everybody out there, I think you should definitely back this because it is Isaac's story. And it's not a, hey, look, I'm gonna write a Superman / Batman with a sexy Wonder Woman to the side thing just because that's what the fans want. And this isn't what the fans want. This is, I think, your story. I think and there's a real power to that because
I hope some fans want it.
Pardon, sorry?
I hope some fans want it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure they will. But I think more importantly, it's a good story. It's not, you're not doing that fan service to the point where all you're doing is another Batman, another dark, grim, gritty, vigilante type thing, which actually is very, very popular. But it's your story. I think that's very important.
Yeah, perfect. We've got another one.
Fan service or
We've got another one here from George. Isaac, how did you find the response between digital rewards over physical rewards? So we found in our last campaign it was almost 50-50 in regards. Have you noticed one higher than the other on this campaign?
What I've noticed going through, like you mentioned going through data, I go through this data, different nationalities and what countries are wanting what. I got a lot of requests for digital stuff, but the requests for digital come almost exclusively from Europe. People who live out in Germany and the UK or Denmark, places like that are like, hey, I want some more digital stuff. And that's just because the shipping from America to those countries is it's not easy. It's not a cheap thing to do, which I apologize profusely for that, but that is beyond my control. That's just, it costs a lot to ship over the ocean. So from people who do live in foreign countries, I do get more requests for digital rewards. People from the United States and Canada, I get almost exclusively requests for more physical stuff.
Physical.
So it's a divide between foreign versus domestic.
Nice.
And it makes perfect sense. Next question. I think it's 2 more to go, and then we can wrap
2
up.
more. Do you see fanfics of your work? I actually have had a couple of fanfics of my work. People send stuff through. It always gives me a kick to see someone draw one of my own characters that I've created. I don't know, Stephen, have you seen anyone draw any of your characters? Yeah,
bits and pieces. I love it when it happens. I really do. Isaac, anything of yours come true?
I've got a couple of fan pieces of my work before. They were just art. Yep. We even ran a contest on it for issue 3. We had a contest saying like if you draw our characters and tell us about it on DeviantArt, we'll had a contest. I think it was like the top 4 winners got their art in the book, and then we of course we sent them all. We said we got you a copy if you wanted it or whatever. There's an interesting a divide between like independent creators and the professionals. To kind of just deviate a little bit to examine like Overwatch. When that game came out, Blizzard was like, we don't want people doing adult work of our characters. We're going to take it all down. Like, well, first off, good luck with that. Second, I feel like if people are doing lewd work of your stuff, you've done something right. Like you've made it because now you're popular. They don't do that in unpopular things. So one of my goals is like, if I start seeing that of my work popping up, I'm like, okay, I'm getting somebody's attention at least. So occasionally I've seen some fan art pop up. I haven't seen any fan stories, but I've seen fan art.
There was one creator, and maybe Sean or Isaac, you can enlighten me who it is, but what this one creator did, and he I can't remember how big big or small he was. I just remember the story. What he basically said is, if you want to draw any of my characters, go right ahead. Sell it in print. I don't care. All I ask, if you do it, is you send me a copy of what you've done, and you can make money off it. I don't really care. I mean, stories and stuff, I'll hold the line for it. But if you want to do, those convention to print and stuff like that, he basically says, knock yourself out. I can't remember who it was, but it was one. Yeah, but I agree with that. If you want to draw my stuff and have fun with it, feel free to, enjoy it.
Well, the reality of it is, I don't know if you guys do a lot of conventions or do elections in Australia.
I do a lot. I've done I do about 20 a year over 4 different continents. So
that's a lot of work. Okay, yeah, The reality of it is, any of these companies, Funimation, DC, Marvel, Disney, they can walk into any of these conventions and just hand out cease and desist orders left and right, because everybody's selling fan art of their stuff. But I think you're smart to let people do that, to let them make fan art of your stuff, because it's what you're doing is you're allowing free advertising.
Keeps
Am
you
I gonna get
relevant.
mad that you're advertising my stuff to people? Am I going to get mad about that? No. Great.
Yeah.
The only thing I want is a link back to the stuff that actually profits for me. Other than that, have fun.
Correct.
Party.
Yeah. Yep.
Just give me some credit, and other than that, have fun, man.
Now, the last question is more than a statement. It's also speaking of Cowboy Bebop, live action series. Are you guys hyped for the series? I've heard they are actually toning down Faye Valentine's costume. I was actually in New Zealand when they started filming this before he got injured. That was October last year. So I actually have met a couple of the actors, and I can't say too much, but was had a little bit of insight in behind the scenes. So I'll leave it to you two to talk about. But yeah.
Look, I'll be honest, I haven't kept up to date with this. I didn't realize there was a live action series coming up. So I'm gonna Google after this call's over, just to find out. I missed out.
It was I know, and the reason why I know this was because when I was in New Zealand, it was called something else, and the reason why they had called it something else was that so people didn't know that that's what they were shooting. But the main Asian character, I can't even think of his name now. He's been in a bunch of different stuff. He either broke his wrist or arm or something, and that's how it all came about. Like, they had to say what happened and what he was shooting, and everyone was like, well, that's not a love romantic. He wouldn't have hurt himself doing this love romantic comedy. Like, what are you actually shooting? And that's how it all came out. So,
okay. Have you heard much of the live action, Isaac? Are you excited for it?
I'm going to go to Grandpa in the room and say, no, I'm not excited at all. I want leave it alone, man. Like, it's a classic. Leave it alone. And historically, live interpretations of anime are ungodly terrible. The
Dragon Ball Evolution, baby.
Oh no!
The only one I think I've seen that was actually good, like Alita Battle Angel, was done super good. That was a great live interpretation of an anime. Other than that, no. I think that the reason anime works as anime is because anime is a very over-exaggerated genre. Everything is pushed to an extreme within that medium, and which works for it. And comics do that a lot too, but anime really does it. I don't want to see it live action. And if they do it, I absolutely don't want to see them make any changes to the characters like that. Like, we can't have this character look like this anymore. Or this, like. Why are we messing with it? Like, it was fine. Like, everybody likes Bebop. Bebop was popular. I don't want to see a live action. So it's kind of like I didn't want to see a live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we see how that worked out. And
that was
John Cho. Thank you, Darren. John Cho is the actor's name. So now we've really hit a topic here. Everyone's like, even worse than that, The Last Airbender.
You can't get
funny. How about Speed Racer? Oh my god, that was horrible. Speed Racer.
Yeah, exactly. So like the bar has been set so incredibly low by the predecessors of live action anime that
this only has to be
shouldn't be that hard to be
great.
But in defense, Bebop is in defense, Bebop is more believable. It's not as fantastical as things like Airbender or Speed Racer or Dragon Ball. So there's a lot more room for it to be more organic. But there are again. I'll be the old crotchety guy in the room that's like, no, they changed it too much from when I was a kid. I'm like, no, you guys are messing with it, making things different and trying to like make it like cater to an American. They're trying to like make it to cater to an American audience. And like I don't know. I like the original. I think leave it alone. Nah, man. I know I'm sure out there's gonna be like, no, you're an idiot. I'm like, no, just leave it alone. Please don't live action any anime ever under any circumstance, please.
Oh no, and look, I no disagreements here on that. Look, we're going to wrap up pretty soon. I think we've taken more than a half hour extra of your time, so really thank you for coming on for longer than the hour. Just a couple of admin stuff. Look, thank you everybody for joining the chat. It was fantastic. I think we loved you guys a lot. Thanks for all the questions. Usual, please sub if you haven't subbed already. It does help us out a lot. One of our targets is to reach the 1,000 subs, so anything you can do to help us reach that, we much appreciate it. Sean's also, and I know Sean's a bit too humble to say this, but Sean's also just launched XCT Champion Fractured Worlds on Indiegogo. The link is in the live chat. Please do check it out. Please also definitely check out Isaac's work. Look, I had to read through the Kickstarter page. Renee looks like a really badass character, and I'm sure you guys will really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Isaac, any last words?
Sean, if you want to shoot me a link to your Kickstarter or your Indiegogo, man, I'll put that in an update when I send out one of my updates today or tomorrow.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Do that because that helps you out at all. But absolutely. I subscribe to the theory that as independents, we're on the same team. It's we're all together fighting Marvel and DC, which is kind of like fighting Mike Tyson with a broken arm, but something. If you were a fan of that '90s era of anime comics, if you like the old Batman animated series, if you liked Firefly, Serenity, and in more recent times, if you were into The Mandalorian, which I saw The Mandalorian, I was like, man, the writers read Cremisi. Because there's no way there's no way that our ideas are this similar and you guys just got out of nowhere. If you were into that, you're gonna be in heaven when it comes to Cremisi.
Sean,
awesome.
Any last
Thank
words?
you again so much for your time, mate. I do appreciate it. I do apologize to everyone for my technical glitches tonight. There is literally no excuse because I was going to say I've been the most prepared I have ever been for a show, and I couldn't have buggered it up more. So thank you so much for watching. We've hit over 150 subscribers so far, and we do appreciate everyone's time. Thanks, Stephen, for putting my Indiegogo link in there. As I said, guys, it is just a small target to kind of bump up and help with the printing costs for Fractured Worlds. And yeah, make sure you check out our campaigns.
Okay, thank you, and see you guys.